Hello, this is Del Denny of TBC Action Coach of Indiana, and I want to welcome you to the Indiana Business Spotlight Series. The purpose of this series is to help local Indiana businesses because when Indiana businesses survive and thrive, well, we all do a little bit better. So today I want to welcome Jim to our Indiana Business Spotlight Series. Jim, welcome out.
Thanks, Del. Appreciate it.
Now, Jim, tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and then we'll get into your business a little bit, but tell us about who you are.
Sure. Well, I'm a Hoosier native, grew up in Fort Wayne, met my wife, Joni, at Ball State a bunch of years ago, where I was a major in accounting. We have two adult kids, one granddaughter right now, another one on the way. And the bulk of my, professional experience was built around optimizing operations and the bottom line, mostly at Conseco, if people remember that name. I was there about 15 years before moving to Chicago, down to Cincinnati, and now back in Indianapolis.
Very nice. And now you're back in Indianapolis. Tell us about your company. What do you do?
Sure. Expense Reduction Analysts is a very large boutique consulting company. International, was originally founded in the UK 28 years ago. We have over 750 people that bring a variety of experiences to help other companies, our clients, reduce their costs by renegotiating pricing and service levels with suppliers and vendors, much beyond what usually can be expected from in-house resources. Pretty unique model, since we do save usually 10 to sometimes as much as 30 or more % on categories. We specialize in 45 categories. And we make literally no nickels until or unless we save our customers dimes or more. So completely no savings, no fee basis, contingent model. So we put our reputation on the line, and we either make a difference or we don't make any money.
Well, that's a heck of a model right there. I think everybody appreciates that. Speaking of people appreciating what you do, and a unique model, who is your target audience? Who do you like to work with?
Yeah, interesting question, Del. I would say, I guess I would first start out by saying it's less for me and for us about the company size or any niche industries. It's really more about who are the leaders and what is their attitude about trying to be the best they can be. Those that already think they know it all don't tend to make great prospects for us. And they may not even be necessarily great managers for their companies because they aren't leveraging other people well. So our best customers are those where the leadership says, you know what, I don't know everything, or maybe I need to unlearn some things and think outside the box and bring some people in. Maybe it's my employees, maybe it's consultants, but wherever best practice and expertise and help can lie, they go get it, and they're excited to leverage other people. Beyond that, really we're industry agnostic. The sweet spot of our customer base are privately owned customers or companies that are ranging somewhere between usually 10 to upwards of maybe $250 million in revenue. Again, really not necessarily any focus, but we do a lot of business in manufacturing and healthcare. Seem to have high degree of opportunities right now.
Fantastic. Now, you have a range of businesses that you work with. If you had to kind of broadcast the message about expense reduction, where do most people go wrong when it comes to expenses, and how do you help?
Well, I think the concept that we end up talking about a lot is the concept of tail spend. And so if you think of a manufacturing company as an example, the procurement department, is up to its eyeballs in making sure that the guts of the raw materials are well managed and aggressively managing those suppliers. But who's managing everything else? And is that really a formal responsibility to manage the rest of that? Maybe tail spend, which might be 20 or 30 or 40% of the gross expenses, but it's not on anybody's radar. It's not officially on procurement's radar. It's not officially on the CFO's radar or HR's radar or anybody. And so we suboptimize our companies by not having expertise, experience, and even really the raw capacity to go out and benchmark to know that we're getting the best bang for our buck on those other categories.
Gotcha. So the Indiana Spotlight Series, it came out of the pandemic, understanding, business were effective, therefore we want to give back as business coaches. How has your company been affected by the pandemic?
Probably not unlike a lot of, especially service businesses, but the opportunities for face-to-face other than electronic faces were so, and still are, I guess, pretty drastically reduced. So it's been a big shift to get away from the let's do lunch as the line to begin a conversation or a relationship. So I would say that's really been the biggest impact. But in our model, especially with my team literally all over the globe, we were having to use some of these Zoom or Microsoft Teams platforms anyway to bring our teams together with clients. But really, it's the relationship side that I have missed the opportunity to do a lot of more face-to-face and getting to really know people and look them in the eye.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Zoom has its place as we're using this. It's a great tool, but there's that need for human connection now more than ever, really.
Absolutely.
What pivots have you had to make? Like so many businesses had to make pivots during the pandemic. Were there any other pivots that you had to make?
Well, I heard Brene Brown one time on her Dare to Lead podcast. She coined the term embrace the suck, which isn't necessarily maybe a popular way to talk about psychological mind shift changes. But on the other hand, I think it does do a good job of describing, what we can get all upset and angry and frustrated with the world that we live in and the situations and the circumstances. But on the other hand, the most successful people will rise above, to your point. They get creative, they get aggressive, they try to pivot, great word. And so things like being okay with Zoom, being okay with Microsoft Teams. A simple thing for me is don't presume one or the other of those two platforms, offer both, Zoom, Teams, whatever. I would also say, don't forget the phone. So interesting how we've gotten into this too much email, and we assume people even have time to read their email, and in this crazy world, they just don't. And so when we can maybe sometimes potentially catch them live, but at least leave a voicemail that is a real human voice on the other end when they listen to it, as opposed to a no emotion, just black and white words on an email, pretty bland, not very warm way to really relate to people. And I think the rest of the story is just, for the most part, maybe I guess like a farmer, you plant 1 million seeds, you develop 1 million relationships. Don't expect every single one of them to sprout and bear fruit or grain or whatever it is that you're growing, but expect and have faith that the harvest will come. And that good things will come out of pursuing and investing in a lot of great relationships with a lot of great people and trying to help them, whatever it is they might need.
I love that. Some great advice right there. There's a time and season for everything. And hopefully in our economy, we're in the spring, just like we are as we're recording this, the good things are coming in on the horizon. There's a great quote that we like. Smart people learn from their own mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of others. What mistakes could you share with us that you've made as a business owner that might be able to help another business owner down the way?
Absolutely. Well, I think maybe it's born there. I've got lots of battle scars from corporate where I told people what they needed. I told them about their problems. Didn't focus enough on what they were really feeling, what they were really needing. So especially as I've transitioned to owning my own business and really carving my own niche, doing it my way, I've had to learn about, you know what, my focus has just simply got to be about helping people, period, stop, end of sentence. When I start drifting into try to tell them what it is that they need or sell them on what it is that I actually do for a living, then I drift off script and I lose them because I didn't happen to catch them on the right day where maybe they might need me sometime in their lifetime to do what I do professionally. But rather than focus on me, we talk, and the Sandler training for salespeople really emphasizes talk way less than you listen. So I got to teach myself maybe to listen, I don't know, 70, 80, 90% of the time. Ask questions, but don't keep talking about myself or try to demonstrate my expertise. It's really all about, how can I help this particular person at this particular time? And so that maybe then relates to a second learning, that is just to be patient, invest wisely my time and my money, don't give up, and be okay with delayed gratification, knowing that you're helping people in the process and the fruit will come.
Beautiful. Wise words right there. I love that. Jim, where can we find you? If I have a business and I need some help with it, I need to reduce my expenses, where do I go? How do I work with you?
Well, it's easy to find me. If you want to look at our corporate website, you can look at us.expensereduction.com. There's a button on there called Find a Consultant. And if you look under the B's, you'll find Jim Blickendorf and my contact information at the bottom. Locally here in Indiana, my email is jblickendorf@expensereduction.com, and my phone number is 317-660-1ERA.
Fantastic. And I'll make sure that it's all added in the show notes too. Everything's clickable and all that good stuff. Last question for you. I always like to end on a high note. Jim, what inspires you the most today?
I think really the inspiration comes from those relationships I talked about earlier. Having opportunities to get to know people and work toward truly becoming a trusted advisor for people. Again, regardless of what it might be that they actually need, but truly trying to help and know people and help them where they are.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for coming on to our Indiana Business Spotlight series. We appreciate it. There was a lot of nuggets in there. I appreciate it. I hope that people watch this a couple times because there was definitely some words of wisdom there. So, Jim, thank you.
It's born out of experience, I will say, but my pleasure, Del. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.